Welcome into the Paul Farrington Show. Paul, joined by Jack Weinberger and Robert Ziggy Ziegler at the University of Virginia for a mailbag episode. We're all back for a mailbag. I mean, this is what it's all about right here. When people submit questions,
me doing a mailbag. I haven't done it in a while.
Yeah. I don't think you've been on a mailbag since what, like October, maybe?
Well, I don't get questions.
Oh, I think you have a couple questions in this one.
We've missed Jack questions before.
There are people who want you in for the mailbag episodes.
The Jack Maniacs.
If you guys, we'll have to think of a name. The
Jackomaniacs.
The Jackomaniacs, the Jack Attacks. We'll figure that out. Someone leave a comment of what Jack's posse should be.
I have a work friend that calls me Jack Attack.
If you're enjoying these videos, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, I can't get into it. I'm gonna keep. You work at a school. That's just a questionable name to have.
A work friend.
Oh,
what are you talking about? Come on.
Is your work friend 12?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on there.
Where is your mind?
I really don't know. That's why I said I'm not even gonna dive into it.
She's a woman in her 40s.
Oh dear. Oh god.
She's a hall monitor. She's very nice.
Jack Attack. All right. If you're enjoying these videos, please like, comment, subscribe to the channel. You can listen on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Check us out on TikTok, Twitter, or Instagram as well. We'll dive right into the mailbag here. The first question from Nathan Smith. A long time ago, Ziggy, you mentioned you were a tea fan and explained why bag tea is inferior to actual loose leaf. But you didn't talk about what you actually drink. Is it black tea, green? The world needs to know what fuels the ultimate philosopher.
So actually, I'll just tell you what I had today. I didn't have either black or green tea today. I had two things. First, I had a little bit of a Fudong white needle. I'm a huge fan of white teas. I've been getting into white teas recently. It's like a less grassy green tea. Silver Needle it's a great tea. Anybody who can try some should try some. It usually only retails about $15 an ounce, so it's not crazy expensive. The other thing I had today was some barley tea.
But it's barley?
Barley, yeah. This guy up in Pennsylvania, a brother, gave me this tea that's just barley and wheat malted and mixed together. I didn't believe him when he told me this is going to be the best thing I ever had, and it wasn't. But it's pretty good. So barley doesn't really count as anything because it's not really tea, but that's what I've been drinking.
All right. There you go, Nathan. Hopefully you're satisfied with that. Ziggy, I think you could be looking at a tea sponsor. I like that. What fuels the ultimate philosopher?
If we got a real tea sponsor, I'd be so in.
I mean, that'd be great.
I like tea.
Can you imagine Ziggy in a commercial?
Lipton.
He's on the couch. He just lifts up his mug. He just goes like, "What fuels the ultimate philosopher?"
Oh no, not Lipton.
Is that iced tea?
Real tea.
Ziggy was very particular.
It's like you didn't even listen to the segment.
Ziggy won't be able to get his tea sponsor because none of the ones that would actually pay and that have the money to pay are what he's drinking.
But Lipton is tea, though, right? It's not iced tea.
Lipton's I think so. I think it's probably both, right?
Oh, that probably is.
Got it. Yeah. Jay the Rip says, we're all still reeling from the Luka Doncic, Anthony Davis trade, obviously. Bring that insane energy to the NFL. What is a ridiculous trade that would never happen? And his example is Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams with a 2029 first-round pick. Vikings give Justin Jefferson to the Jets. Ink it. I would be like the Dallas. I would fly to Minnesota. I'd buy a casket. I'd walk it to US Bank Stadium. I'd do exactly what the Mavericks fans did. I'd lie it down there. I'd hold a memorial for Justin Jefferson, the Vikings organization, if we did that.
So I'm like 100% serious. My students know that I like sports. One of them came into my office almost crying this morning because of the Luka Doncic trade.
It's like 2 days after.
I feel like
it was 1 day after, but yeah.
You wouldn't do that for the Vikings?
Cry?
No. You wouldn't do that trade. Like you wouldn't give Jefferson for Adams and Rodgers
and a first.
Are you serious, Jack?
Well, Adams is like not much worse than Jefferson. Rodgers is a Hall of Fame QB.
See, this is how Anthony Davis gets swapped for Luka Doncic. That kind of reasoning.
This is troll.
Well, I think Luka to AD is much further than Justin Jefferson to Adams.
I mean, yeah, like this is a great, ridiculous trade that would never happen.
To get Adams in a first-round pick, plus maybe like a magical year of Rodgers, I think I'd do it.
If I told you, Ziggy, that we were guaranteed to have a magical Aaron Rodgers season, would you do the trade?
You can give me 5 magical Aaron Rodgers seasons. I'm not doing it.
One magical Aaron Rodgers. See, this is interesting now, Jay the Rep. If you guarantee, again, this is a hypothetical trade now, but if you guarantee me one magical season of Rodgers, I might take the trade.
Is that
You're a fool.
Is that Jack?
I probably am. I probably am. But one magical season of Rodgers could win a Super Bowl. And I might, like, given that I don't know anything about J.J. McCarthy, again, this is crazy. And Justin Jefferson is the best receiver in football, and he's going to be for a number of years, I imagine. But if you get that Favre year, they should have won the Super Bowl.
What about this? What about George Pickens, T.J. Watt, and 2 first-round picks for Joe Burrow?
That's a crazy trade.
It's a great example. Yeah, that's a great example. That is kind of nuts. What is there a quarterback? What quarterback would it be about even if you offered that? 2 first, T.J. Watt and George Pickens. Is there anyone that you could somewhat propose that for?
Yeah, the Bengals.
Jared Goff.
No, God, I know I wouldn't do that.
No, I don't think I do
Jordan
that.
Love.
Jordan Love it gets interesting.
I think Jordan Love is the closest. It doesn't
Stroud?
make sense for either team to do that.
You can't do Stroud. Like Love. I think Love's a little worse than Stroud. So I don't think Packers fans would do that though.
I feel
There's no trade that you're doing for those guys. But
I feel like I'd do that if we got Stroud. I'd do it for Stroud.
Yeah. Oh wait, yeah. If you were the Texans, you would trade.
No, if I'm the Steelers.
Oh well, yeah, of course you would. Yeah.
Well, let's not forget.
Yeah, duh.
Let's not forget how nuts Watt is.
I don't know if there's. Yeah, I don't know if there's. I think that there's a line of quarterbacks you won't trade, and then quarterbacks you would. And I think that this is like when you're dealing with quarterbacks.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's franchise guys and there's not franchise guys.
We'll never know.
That's an interesting one. But that's the most fun hypothetical trades, like for a quarterback. At some point, you have to make the deal, right? What, 3 first-round picks?
Yeah, like
for Jordan Love. Like how much do you
yeah.
have to give?
Yeah.
For the quarterback
When you make the deal.
Kyle Rock says, "What beats Bears? Battlestar Galactic." Oh, it's the Office. Who do you think will be the best quarterback next season? Early prediction: best quarterback next season.
Jackson Dart.
Yeah, there it is. Let's hey Ziggy. Would you say the best quarterback this season was Josh Allen?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it's not just naturally saying.
If you said Lamar Jackson, that would be okay too.
It's not just saying like Patrick Mahomes. Like I think Patrick Mahomes is. Yeah, I take him to win any game.
There's a correct answer to this question, and it's Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I think he's the best in the league. But impressive.
You should expect him to be the best every single year, and when he's not, that's the aberration.
I agree with you. Stuckman. All right. Again, I haven't read all these through yet. So let's see what happens. What's the over/under on Taylor Swift close-ups during the Super Bowl? Fox does not play into it as much as CBS due to Fox primarily focusing on the NFC, but they have to show Taylor a few times during the game.
Over/under 2.5.
Way over.
I'd say
Are you kidding me?
I'd say like 12.5. The FanDuel
2.5, Ziggy?
The FanDuel line's 11.5.
Is there actually a line?
Yeah.
Times they show Taylor Swift on TV.
Oh, well then I'm an idiot.
I'd probably go.
What's 11.5? You going over/under? They didn't show her that much in the AFC Championship game.
It's super
I'm going under 11.5.
I'm going under 2.
I'd probably go into that as well.
I think last year it was like quote unquote special having her there, and now it's become more normal. Like she's at most of the games.
They'll show her crying when her boyfriend's getting crushed 31-0.
But if it's the fourth quarter and Kelsey has like a couple big catches, like she's on screen every time Kelsey has a big catch.
He'll be shut down.
11.5 from the start of the game. Is that it? You think?
I believe so. The life's too short to bet the under though.
11.5. You think they show her 3 times a quarter?
I mean, 12 times is a lot.
I think it comes in at 11.
I think a lot of people too. A lot of football fans are kind of sick of like seeing her all the time.
Yeah, I think it's going to come in under, slightly under.
Yeah, I'd say like 9.
All right, now to get serious, says Stuckman. He's getting serious. What are we rooting for? The loudest and rowdiest fan base in an attempt to ruin the three-peat and delay the birth of a new evil empire? Or a chance to witness history with a three-peat in hopes of disappointing the angriest and most violent fan base in all of sports? Before you can say it, the meteor or a nuke in the Super Bowl getting canceled does not count. Must pick your poison, choose to root for Philly or Kansas City. I'm going 38-35 Kansas City. Once again, the same score. Mahomes truly begins his ascension to GOAT status.
I got the birds, baby. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Yeah, Jax has pledged himself to the
I'm
Eagles.
staking my entire rep on the Eagles. Barkley 2+ touchdowns.
Ziggy,
Hurts catches a touchdown.
who are you rooting for?
I'm rooting for the Chiefs.
I am so rooting for the Chiefs. I can't stand the Eagles. I think their fan base is obnoxious. I think that they are mean. They're nasty. They're bullies. I don't like bullies. I would love nothing less than the Chiefs to pound this team into the ground. And I have a lot of friends who are Eagles fans I really like. And, I wish the best for them. But this fan base drives me up a wall.
It's a great fan base.
Yeah, you wish the best for them. You just think they're terrible, evil people and hope they suffer.
Not them. I just think there are a lot, not evil people, but I just think that when it comes to Philly sports, people change. And it's like you see reels and videos of these Eagles fans. I just think it's horrible. And I do not want them to win a Super Bowl. It'll be brutal. And it actually probably be bad for the city of Philadelphia. JJB80 says, is there any chance, actually, this is a good question. Is there any chance the Packers sign Vikings upcoming free agent cornerback Byron Murphy? What free agents are the Vikings most desperate to re-sign, and how active do you expect the Vikings to be in signing free agents from other teams? Are there any upcoming Packer free agents that you can see the Vikings signing? Edit. Another podcast I listened to, Sounds Gouda, mentioned that the Vikings have over 40% of their snaps up for free agency, while the Packers have about 14% of their snaps ready to become free agents. Just checking for verification on this. Maybe I misheard. That's a big difference if true. Byron, as far as Byron Murphy goes, I would hate to lose him. I mean, he played
95% of our snaps this year. We have to keep.
He has to come back.
It's not an
Pro Bowl
option.
cornerback. It's already a depleted room. Of all the free agents that we have, Byron Murphy might be the guy I'm circling. Like he needs to be back in the room next season.
And I don't think we're going to lose him. I think the Vikings will offer him a fair market value and he'll take it.
I completely agree with you there. I don't know the numbers. I haven't seen the 40% and 14% between the Packers and the Vikings. But look, for the Vikings, as far as they go, I'd love to improve. I'd love to improve the interior offensive line. It's been a problem for a long time. Trey Smith is up, right, Ziggy, with Kansas City. That's like a dream signing. I don't think that'll happen.
Someone's going to pay more than us.
But we need to address it at some point. And safety is going to be a concern because Harrison's probably retiring, and Cam Bynum, in my estimation, Cam Bynum will probably get picked up for a larger contract to someone else. So, I think the Vikings need to bring Murphy back because their whole secondary is going to be gone. And that's what I'm focusing on mostly. Would you echo that?
I agree, though. I'd also like to see us. We've got a few of those, like our interior defensive line is weak. And both Bullard and Jerry Tillery up for contract.
And Ward, right? Agents. I think Ward is also.
Yeah, and Ward. So I'm not attached to keeping any one of those guys in particular. Redmond's also up. Actually, no, we extended him, I think. But I want to keep one of those guys.
Yeah, as far as they go, I think that's a room I'm more willing to let go and hopefully.
But I think just numbers wise, we have to keep one of them.
Yes, but then I'd like to build up the two interior lines the Vikings need to build up. And look, if you take the approach to last season, the Vikings have a lot of cap space this year. You can build up defenses pretty quickly when you have no quarterback eating up $55 million. Hugh Pack says, how do you guys think the Eagles' passing attack fares against Kansas City's secondary? Well, Jack, you probably think they're going to light them up.
Lights them up.
You think Trent McDuffie is going to get annihilated by A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith?
I think just the whole Eagles offense feasts.
Do you think Saquon will win MVP?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm picking the much better team to win the Super Bowl.
As far as the passing attack goes, something that the matchup I'm going to be watching early on, and I think McDuffie's one of the best cornerbacks in the league, so you can move him around as you please. But what I'm going to be watching, I want to see that Eagles offensive line go up against Chris Jones, who's, I know he's not underrated because I think he actually is underrated. He's known very well amongst NFL fans because he's been so vital to this attempted three-peat. But when you watch Chris Jones play, he's just crazy. I mean, he is easily one of the best defenders in the league that I don't think a lot of fans outside of true football fans know about him. And if you're able to disrupt Jalen Hurts and get him off his game, which I don't think you will be able to. The Eagles' offensive line is great, and I think Hurts steps up in big game scenarios. Then you could be talking about a situation where you're relying on Saquon a lot, and Saquon's a guy, fortunately, that you're able to rely upon as a running back. But I think the Eagles' passing attack will be fine. I think it'll come down to them, Hurts making a couple big third down plays and extending plays, which he's been pretty good at. I think it's going to be a great game. I don't think that either defense will dominate the other. I think it'll probably be like 28-24 game again.
Over under 15.5 times Chris Jones is put on his back.
Under. Significantly under.
I go over.
Ziggy, you echo more of my statement or Jack's Eagles dominance?
So if you look at Jalen Hurts' stats, he's thrown for like 250 yards in one game and 110 and like 120, 130 in the other two. I think he's going to end up somewhere in between that. Like I'm expecting high hundreds, low 200s. This team runs through Saquon Barkley. It is what it is. And while AJ Brown is a good player, while Devontae Smith is a good player, that's just how this team is constructed. I don't think they're suddenly going to change what works. Even if the offense plays great, it's not going to be because Jalen Hurts is passing the ball, because that's just not what makes this offense great. Mm-hmm. KC's got a great secondary. I don't think there's any reason to test them. I think they're going to stick to the ground as much as they can. Jalen Hurts will have moments to make big passes, but I think it's going to be less throwing 40 or 50-yard bombs and more throwing key like 3rd and 8 completions, which matter a ton, but don't show up as huge yards on the stat sheet.
Oh, no, and they're good at that. I think A.J. Brown comes up big in those situations a lot of times. Trey Osborne, quick comment, says, time for a new Super Bowl matchup next year. No Chiefs, no Eagles, no Niners, or no Rams.
Please.
I would like it. It would be nice to get a little
don't say no Rams, though. If the Rams make it, I'm not happy because I'm in the NFC, but they're not a boring repeat team in the same way.
We have a few questions left here. Benjamin says, imagine if the NFL were completely reimagined. Imagine if the NFL were to completely reimagine the Super Bowl halftime show. Pretend that profitability is not a concern. What would you like to see instead of a pop music performance? I think robots fighting would be pretty cool, or a demolition derby. It's a fun question.
Yeah, that is.
Instead of a performance.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
I mean, I do like having like a huge musician come on. I think that's great. But what's something that would get my attention? I'm not a comedian.
What about like jousting?
Jousting?
Yeah, guys on horses.
Like you have like medieval times kind of stuff?
Like, yes.
Robots fighting would be amazing. I mean, if we're willing to stretch the imagination, that we could get some like high intensity cockfighting and gambling. I'm just kidding. That's a joke. That's a joke.
What about like fast cars?
Yeah, I think you could do something like you could have some sort of like motorsport.
Yeah.
That would be fun. I'm trying to think of anything else. Magician. How about like a high level magician?
Like a hypnotist?
Like, yeah, it's like maybe not hypnotist. I'm thinking like an insane magic act. Like you get David Blaine and one of these crazy magicians who do things that would blow your mind. That would be kind of cool. Like America's Got Talent.
Or a comedian.
Yeah.
I'm happy with Kendrick. We only got a couple minutes left. Let's get through these.
Ziggy, you're excited for Kendrick's halftime show? Nat is asking you that.
Well, yeah, of course.
Any hopes for the performance?
It's the hopes I have for the performance are not going to be what he actually does. My favorite Kendrick songs, I'd lose my mind if he went out there and did Fear. But there's a 0% chance that's going to happen.
Congratulations, Ziggy, on Song of the Year, by the way. Congrats.
Why are you congratulating me?
Oh, you're a huge Kendrick guy.
Oh, nice, Ziggy.
Congrats, Ziggy. Well done.
Did Euphoria win?
Sounds... No, what was it? It was... what else the song?
It was Not Like Us.
Yeah, Not Like Us.
Actually,
yeah.
It was Kendrick's worst song, Cool Beef.
That song is terrible. I hate that song.
Yeah, me neither.
It's not terrible.
I don't know how Kendrick Lamar won that for that song. I don't know how Beyonce's album won. Well, I guess Ziggy said it's all rigged.
It's
Beyonce,
it's all rigged.
Beyonce, I was surprised.
Sounds Epic Music. We have 3 left. We'll fly through these. Sounds Epic Music.
One word answer.
500 years have passed. One team remains from the NFC and one from the AFC. Which teams and why?
500 years what?
500 years have passed. Which team stands? Oh, Steelers and the Packers.
Yeah.
Steelers and the Packers.
Steelers and Packers.
I could see the Steelers and the Packers play 17 games every week.
Yeah.
So they are the only 2 teams left. They do battle every Sunday for 17 weeks over and over again. No breaks. Then there's a playoff and a Super Bowl. I mean, that would be brutal. Watching the Steelers and the Packers, that would not be fun, but I guess
none of it would be fun.
Yeah. Right. 2 questions here. Jay Scully, what are your predictions for the biggest player to get traded to a new team this offseason aside from Myles Garrett? Would you be willing to do a first-round mock draft similar to their power rankings, taking turns making picks? Yeah, I think we'll do a mock draft. That's all. We try and do that every single year. It'll just be how produced up it'll be. As far as a big player to get traded to a new team, Metcalf? Could DK be going?
Higgins?
Well, Higgins free agent. He's a free agent.
Uh,
I think DK could be on the move if they decide to move on from Geno. That's I think what I'm going to go with. Do you have anyone, Ziggy? I see your
well,
wheels
Cooper
racing.
Cup just said he's leaving the Rams.
Oh,
so
Cooper
I think
Kupp
that's
did?
going to be the biggest one.
No, all right.
No, seriously, right now the news broke. He's leaving the Rams.
No, that's big. But
And Myles Garrett isn't getting traded this offseason.
oh yeah,
Cooper Kupp
Ziggy,
is.
yeah, Ziggy determined that Miles.
We'll talk about that more on a future show, but it's going to happen.
And the very last thing we have, so DK Metcalf and you're going Cooper Kupp. Is that it here?
Yeah.
Is there anyone else on the? I think those are two pretty big.
Imagine the
names.
Chiefs get Cooper Kupp. It's going to be wild.
The last question from Benjamin. I've been wondering if Andy Reid, given his age, would retire after winning a three-peat. Also wondered this a lot about players and coaches right after major successes in the twilight years of their careers. It seems they seldom, if ever, do retire. They often keep going till the wheels fall off. You'd think people would want to end on a high note, but maybe there's just something about the mind of a super achiever that I can't relate to.
yeah, once you win, you want more.
I think
You think these guys love their family? No, the only reason you're doing this is because you care more about football than anything else in the world. That's what it takes to be an NFL head coach. You care more about winning than anything else in your life.
All right. I don't know if I want to go that far, but
I honestly
every great NFL coach, it's true of them.
well, no, they are enormously driven. I don't want to come out here and say Andy Reid cares more about football than his family. That's
He clearly
disingenuous.
does.
You might.
That's
The evidence is
disingenuous.
in.
We can't say that.
You might.
I think
It's true.
I think that these guys are unbelievably driven, and you dedicate so much time that part of it's like when you win, you want to see if you can do it again, right? The Peyton Manning went out and he was horrible his last year. I get that. Peyton was done. He had nothing left. But guys who still have it, it's hard to just say, I'm going to walk away when I think I
When
can
you're
still
having a
win.
four-peat than a three-peat,
Yeah, like I think I do believe that the finality of losing brings a little bit of solace with it. You're like, all right, my time's done. I'm passing the torch on to the next person.
Like
you don't
Big-
have that lingering question.
Big Ben, Peyton Manning,
Big Ben.
all those guys who got washed up. Yeah,
For real though, like
Tom Brady.
Ben retired and he was like Brady actually still, but Ben retired and you were like, yeah, he's done.
yeah.
There's nothing left. All right, we'll wrap up the show here. Thanks to everybody for submitting mailbag questions. Of course, we're going to try and keep going with these over the course of the offseason. And you could always go to our community page to submit these. So we'll see you with a Chiefs-Eagles preview, maybe some more. Maybe Ziggy could get into this Myles Garrett thing next week or next episode. We'll see you then.